every single day, there are thousands of Pokemon players around the world who are giving up. It's not an easy game. I get it because I've been there. It's hard. A lot of players are quitting before their first online tournament, their first local tournament, before their first regional, before their first breakthrough, day 2, top cut. And a lot of players who have dreams of making the world championships are quitting before they get even close. Some quit before they even play their first match. And I can understand that because that was me. I actually gave up on this game multiple times. And now I'm glad to say that I'm back and I've actually qualified for my first ever Pokemon VGC World Championships. But the reason I'm saying that is not to flex, but it's to show you that it's possible. And I truly feel like I've understood the Pokemon's player growth journey. And in this video, I want to talk about that, right? I made this funny picture, but it's true. This is my whiteboard, and I want to explain to you the new Pokemon player's growth pattern. And what I've really thought about it, it's the Zubat analogy. I know it's funny because a lot of us hate Zubat. If you've played the Pokemon game growing up as a kid, Zubat was the most annoying Pokemon to see in caves. You'd always hear run away. Sometimes you couldn't even escape. And it's frustrating. No one even wants to catch that Pokemon. But competitive Pokemon players are Zubats. I know. Don't exit the video yet. I'm just trying to show you what I mean by this. A lot of players start here. What does that mean? We start as weak little Pokemon. When you first see Zubat in the game, you see it in the very first cave. It's level 2, it's level 4, it's level 6. It does a little bit of damage. It's not really the strongest thing that you're seeing in the game, and you don't really want it, right? So you catch it. So you have a Zubat in your team. It's doing no damage. That's you as a beginning Pokemon player, right? You don't even know what teams work. You don't even know what strategies work. You're a scared little Pokemon. You're a scared little player, and you don't get it. You're not strong. You're not taking KOs. You don't know how to do damage against real threats, against real players. You know how to attack. You know how to confuse things, maybe with Supersonic, but you don't know how to play. Again, to make this clearer, when you're a beginner Pokemon player, you're not the strongest. You're oftentimes the weakest, and you're starting in the beginning of your journey. You know, you might be looked at as annoying. When you hack someone, you celebrate. In the game, you can't even run away from Zubat, and you even will buy repels to avoid them, right? Like every beginning player is a Zubat. And what I'm here to tell you is that it gets better, and I know it can feel like it takes a long time. When I first started playing Pokemon VGC, I was really, really bad. I would load into the online ladder with my personal team. I would go to my first ever Pokemon tournament with Overgrow Rillaboom and Dusclops, which had no status moves. I was a bad, bad player. I couldn't even win a single game. And my point is that a lot of players will be in this stage for a long time because the game is getting bigger and players are getting better. We're seeing players like Justin Tang win their first ever regional tournament. We're seeing players come from the singles ladder like Michael Kelch, Michael Derbesti, and he's winning multiple regionals and going to the world championships. There's so many players coming into the scene that it can be overwhelming. I know it's hard. I was there once. I didn't know how to build my teams. I didn't even know what EV spreads were. I didn't even know how to make a team and see the typing and the flows, and I knew how to do none of that. But now I sit here about to compete in the Pokemon VGC World Championships. So I'm telling you it's going to get better. This next part of the growth is the evolution. I'm going to quiz you right now. How does Zubat evolve? Let me know in the comments, because if a lot of you know, it's high friendship. Zubat evolves into Golbat in high friendship. And as we know in the game, if you've ever tried to train a Zubat, it is so, so hard, especially before the EXP share would share it to your whole party, because high friendship means what? You have to use it in your party. You have to spend money on the massages and the different items. You have to make it hold the soothe bell, all these little things you would do, and it would take a long time. You never knew when it was going to evolve. You never knew, right? Like most Pokemon players, it's hard. They keep losing. They're not strong enough. They're not strong enough. They're not strong. Like you're failing. You're winning some battles, but you're losing more. You're winning, you're losing, you're winning, you're losing. You cannot see your growth. You go from level 4 to level 5 to level 6 to level 7 to level 8, but it's slow. It's hard. You're not the one taking KOs. You're often doing damage and then switching out. That's Zubat. That's you, right? And this journey is, I would say, where most Pokemon players exist in this journey here, right? Level 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But now you're learning some new attacks, right? You're learning Wing Attack. You're learning, Supersonic. You're learning all these different moves, maybe even some TMs, where now you're winning a little bit more, right? Now maybe you're going to tournaments and you're getting a winning record. You're breaking even, right? You're going 5-3. Who knows? Even your first day too, right? Like a lot of players go through that, and now you're feeling like you're getting better, right? This is a Zubat when you're level 14, 15. Now when you're playing grass types, you're actually KOing them with wing attack, right? Because now you're realizing in your Pokemon player journeys, I'm getting better. I know what my team's good against. I'm actually beating the matchups that I'm supposed to. Maybe I'm not the best against rock types or against electric types, right? But I know how to beat maybe a Wurmple with my Zubat, right? Because I'm supposed to, right? That's where you are in your journey, right? Because in the very beginning where you started, you were annoying, you were weak, you had to always switch out of battle. But as the game goes on, as your Pokemon journey goes on, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, and you're learning and you're getting better. And what you see in the game, in the Pokemon game, I'm sure all of us have played, is that a lot of times Zubat doesn't feel as strong. So people just drop it off in their PC, in their party. They don't want to use it anymore. They release it even. That's because a lot of Pokemon players, what I'm talking about, quit the game before they even get started, right? They play a couple of matches and they lose. They go on the ranked ladder. They can't get out of the Pokeball tier. They can't get into the Master Ball tier. They go to their first regional, spend hundreds of dollars, and go 2-6. I can relate to that. My first ever regional, I got 3 wins, right? My first ever real life tournament, I got 1 win. Online, I could not win a single match forever. But I'm telling you, over time, what starts happening? You start learning how to build more. You start learning how to EV train more. You start learning how to find against good matchups, how to optimize your EV spreads, how to pick the right movesets, pick the right items. Next thing you know, when you into tournaments, you're winning. You're winning, you're winning, you're winning, you're winning, and you're winning. You are a Zubat genuinely becoming stronger. And the high friendship part of this evolution is your inadequacies, your inability, your skills, because you don't even realize that you're growing, right? When you have a Pokemon like Charmander or Bulbasaur, you know that at a certain level, like level 16, is going to evolve, right? You know that. But with Pokemon, you don't know, like with Zubat, you don't know when it's going to evolve. It's going to be a random level, and you hope that all your hard work, all your investment to the friendship will pay off. That is exactly like Pokemon VGC. That is exactly like competitive Pokemon, because when you least expect it, you're going to evolve. I'm telling you, when you least expect it, right before you release that Zubat at level 21, when all your other Pokemon are evolved and Zubat is still a Zubat and it's weak, and you have one more battle, it hits level 22, you'll evolve. That happened to me. That happened to all my friends. That happened to everyone I knew. Because for me, I was terrible, I was terrible, I was terrible. I went to my first regional. It was really bad. Second regional, better, but I was really bad again. I missed day 2. Third regional, I was 3 or 4 wins. But my 4th regional ever, after years of practice, I got my first day 2. I evolved. What happened after that, right? Like, you don't realize, but in a snap of a finger, I was 2-2 at Orlando regionals a couple years ago. And what ended up happening was, oh my God, I was 2-2 into 8-2. The biggest Pokemon tournament ever. When I started off 2-2, I literally lost to a Honchkrow Perish Song team. I'm not kidding. You can go look up the pairings. I went from there. I won the rest of my matches. I beat amazing players like Dao AC, who was a multiple-time Worlds competitor. And out of nowhere, I think I evolved. Like, I evolved. I mean, my first day too. I played Emilio Forbes, the #1 overall seed, and I won a game off of him. I lost to a 50-50 in the end game, to a double protect after that. So I think I evolved. I was sitting amongst the best players in the world. I got to day 2 and I sat there and I'm seeing some of my biggest inspirations at the time. I see Wolfglick over there, Ashton Cox over there, Aditya Supermanian, CK49 over there. I'm like, wait, I think I just went from Zubat to a Golbat. I went from a beginner, from an insecure player who's nervous, who doesn't think he's good enough, to, oh my God, I can hang with the big boys. That's where your evolution comes in, because you will never see it unless you keep trying, is my point. It all compounds, like high friendship. Zubat evolves with high friendship. It compounds, it compounds, it compounds. Next thing you know, boom, doom, 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 doom. You evolve into a Golbat. And the best part about that is that the evolution from Golbat into Crobat, as many of you know who have ever trained a high friendship Pokemon from a low level, is that it will happen the very next level. or the level after. If you have a Zubat from level 4 and you evolve it into Golbat at level 21, a lot of times level 22, 23, 24, it'll become a Crobat. And what happened after I made my first day 2, my first breakthrough? Another day 2, the tournament right after, I got another day 2. I wasn't doing anything different, but my skills just kept compounding. And I figured out that I can do it. That's what Golbat is. Oh my God, all this hard work, I evolved, this friendship took me such a long time, that now I'm already basically the next level. And I did it again, day 2, at my next regional, at Knoxville. And my whole point is that you're like, what? WTF? Because you went from a player who, oh my God, I'll just be bad forever. I'll be bad forever. You know what? I'll learn how to team build. I'll learn how to pick my right items. I'll learn how to pick my right spreads. I'll learn how to play against matchups. Oh my God, my first day 2. Wow, that's a good feeling. I called my cousin the very first time, and right after I did it, it was the happiest I'd ever been. And then I went to my tournament right after that, and I started 7-0, playing with Pokemon like Salamence and Stonejourner. I'm not even kidding. And I was 7-0. And now I became and at that point, now I'm making day 2s multiple times, and now I'm competing in my first ever world championships. And my point of this is that this is a journey, because after you get here, right, like you go through this whole phase again to your next goal. But my whole point of this is wherever you are and to wherever your goal of evolution is, it will happen. But you're not going to see it all the time. Like, because you are a Zubat. You are a lost, small, weak Pokemon in comparison to whatever your goals are. If you're an average day 2 player, but you want to be a world champion, you're starting here, you're ending here. If you're a brand new player who's never touched it, but you want to, you're right here, and your first ever tournament win is right here. It takes time. And my point is that I've gone through this cycle over and over again. I went from terrible new player who had love for the game. I was excited. I was nervous. I felt that. To terrible losing. But guys, I had fun the whole time. I was having fun. And instead of quitting because it got hard, it got expensive, I just kept playing because I loved the game. Next thing you know, I evolved. I got my first day 2. Then I got another day 2. Then I had a whole new evolution journey to where day 2, I missed, I made day 2, I missed out on Worlds, I go X3 at my international, I miss. And out of nowhere, I quit. I literally quit. Then I came back to the game 9 months later, my first regional back after I quit for almost a year. I beat Wolf Glick, I go 7-1, I make my first ever stream match, and I make it to the top 8. That was my Golbat moment. After I was quitting day 2, that was my Zubat. I got to top 8, I beat Wolf, that was my Golbat moment. Well, guess what happened the very next couple of regionals? I made 4 out of 5 day 2s, I made another top 8, and I literally qualified for the Pokemon VGC World Championships. My point is that we are all Zubat wherever we are in our journey. Whether you're a new player, whether you are a top player, but even Wolf, in his mind, is a Zubat at some points. And he has aims that are so much higher than everyone else. Your goal is to acknowledge that you have goals, and you can get there by practice. You're not going to see the results right away, but out of nowhere, it'll compound. It'll just, poof, it'll blow up. It'll literally evolve when you least expect it. Right before you give up, I promise you it'll happen. It happened to me. And now, again, I have the amazing opportunity to play in my first ever Pokemon World Championships as an average player. So if you're lost in the game, you're having a hard time, if you feel hopeless, if you missed out on Worlds this year, because right now, the season's over except for Worlds. If you're thinking about playing next season, play this summer. I'm going to be creating more videos that are maybe even more helpful, and I want to know how I can help you, because this off season is what's going to make you so ready, and this was going to pay off next season for you, or even your first ever tournament, or your first ever online battle. Whatever your goal is, right now is the time to practice. Recognize your Zubat. That's okay, because you know what happens to that Zubat. Over time, it evolves. And when you least expect it, you become a Golbat, and right after that, you become a Crobat. And then you can keep going and keep growing. So I hope that video was helpful. For those of you who are really passionate about your growth and want to know how I made my first World Championships, I actually made a free 11-page guide, like fully my entire roadmap. It's 11 pages. I give you step-by-step progress from 0 to qualifying for Worlds. If you're interested in that, say the word Worlds in the comments, and I will send it to you completely for free, right to you through the comment section. But yeah, guys, I really hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see another video where I get the best advice you may have ever heard from the player who just won the North American International Championships, the best European player maybe in the world, Federico Camporesi. Watch this video right here. But if you want to actually use a team right now to practice online in Pokemon Showdown or in the game, watch this video that I did with a top 3 performing player at the Portland Regional Championships in Kerry Diortona, who's only 17 years old, with this video and his team report that you can use in the game right now. I really hope you enjoyed the video. It's been Dark-type Darsh. Like, subscribe, let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.